Yeah. What it is, King Eric the Great, and you're now tuned in to Off the Cuff Radio, sponsored by Da Vinci Culver, sponsored by Screwball, the Screwball family, Cocaine Buddy Boy Entertainment, Jesse's Boutique, Core Financial, and we got a live one tonight. We got the West Coast double header going down right now. We got Tmaxx in the building.
Man, what it do, y'all? Once again, it's another fantastic Friday of Off the Cuff Radio. But before we get started, man, and my brother King, you know, we can't start without, of course, giving our most humblest and deepest condolences to the Memphis-made man, PRE, Paper Route Entertainment, entrepreneur, the legend, big homie, rest in peace, Young Dolph, man. We miss you. We miss you a whole lot, man.
Yeah, it's been a rough week, man. We want to dedicate this show to the memory of not only Young Dolph, but I also want to dedicate this one to my uncle that passed away this week as well. So we're going to
my condolences.
Do this show the right way. And what better way than to do it in an impactful way tonight, man. We got a double header going down. With the first hour, this guy right here, man, possibly one of the most solid spitters of the West Coast, very consistent, and he's been elevating himself for the past decade. Now he's on Smoke A Lot Radio. Now he got the Smoke A Lot podcast. He's still dropping albums. He's still remaining consistent. And he's not stopping anytime soon. So without further ado, let's bring on Yukmouth, y'all.
Jip.
Yo.
What's good, bro?
Yo.
What's going on with you, man?
In the building. What's poppin'?
What's good, my man?
Dude,
y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, off the cuff. What it do, man? We in this motherfucker. Let's get it.
Definitely,
yeah, man.
Look, this has been a long time coming, man. We got to shout out all the hoods in Oakland, all the Bay, man. We got to shout out Hoover Foster, man. We got to shout out Richmond, Woodland. We got to shout out East 22nd, the Highlands, the Hills, the Flats. It's great to have you with us, man. Another living legend on the show, man. This is lovely, man.
Oh man, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for the opportunity, man. We've been playing this shit for a minute. I've been seeing the flyers for a minute, so it's finally that date, man. Let's do it big.
Yes, sir, man. And you know what though and one of the main reasons we want to reach out to you, because you one of those guys that's you're proving that you're not a nostalgia. You still putting down quality work. You got a dope project out with Ras Kass, the D12 guys. Tell us how did that come about?
Oh man, they're my brothers, man. Me and Ras Kass been brothers forever, man. Like since the '90s, man. So that's my brother. And Swifty McVeigh, me and him been rocking out like before the pandemic even hit. We've been rocking out. Matter of fact, he was on my last solo album, JJ, based on a Ville story, part 3. So he is on that album, and we had shared a song together called Fresh Prince. You know what I mean? And no, Jazzy Jeff. And it also had MRK, who's the other artist that's on the album on that song. So we had a working history. The vibe was cool from back then, and we just kept on working on shit. And one weekend we just they just thought we need to put a project together. You know what I mean? Because the vibe is so dope. You know what I mean? Between me, Swift, MRK, and we just added Ras Kass to the bunch, and Ras been working with us, Swift and MRK, for a minute, so it was just a vibe, you know what I mean? We did the whole album together in the studio together, you know what I mean? Just knocking out song by song, you know what I mean? Going in the booth after each other, you know what I mean? And just knocking it down. It was all genuine, you know what I mean? It was dope. Like, it was real dope to rock with real lyrical spitters. It keep you on your game. So it was a real still sharp to steel type of situation. Shout out LB, you know what I mean, the executive producer. He laid it out for us, had dope ass tracks. Some had the hooks on them. We had to come with some hooks and shit, whatever. But after we recorded our stuff, you know what I mean, they got the features on it, you know what I mean. Shout out everybody that got on the album. We either got the dude from Arrested Development on that thing, man. So,
Speech.
you know, yep, we got Speech. We got Nature on that thing, you know what I mean, Obi Trice, you know what I mean, a few others on that thing. So it's a dope-ass album, you know what I mean, period. So for the people that's listening, it's an album out called Long Story Longer, you know what I mean, featuring me, you know what I mean, myself, Ras Kass, Swifty McVeigh from D12, and MRK SK. Dope-ass album. Go check that out.
Man, one thing about it, y'all, is you have been doing this for so long, man. I mean, of course, everybody knows you and Numbskull from the Luniz Operation Stackholder 1995, who you and him gifted us with one of the all-time classics forever and ever. I Got Five on it. But you, over the years, have just evolved into this juggernaut, this Godzilla of lyrical genius. I mean, and still not only to this day still contributing, but doing it at a high level, man.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, your love of hip hop, man. I mean, obviously, it still drives you in terms of composing and creating, evolving, executing, collaborating, and being so generous, sharing, man. I mean, tell us about from when you started back in the day in terms of how, you know, the genius of Yuck, you know, came into Yuck with the stuff. You know, what really inspired you to really, like, get into hip-hop in terms of rapping and just the evolution of where you are today with it all?
Well, you know, shout out just all the OGs, the LL Cool J's, Run DMCs, all the people, the Too Shorts, Hammers, you know what I mean, the OGs who made rap popular, you know what I mean, when we was listening to it in our cassette decks and our Walkman players when we was in junior high school. But Numbskull had the rap group called Brothers with Potential when we was in junior high in the 8th grade. So that was like an influence for us to start writing bars and shit. So we had a little group and shit. And then as we got older, we split up and went different ways. But me and Numb stayed together, hustling on the streets and shit. So I'm back and forth in and out of juvenile hall, and I had to do a year in juvenile hall. And I think that year in juvenile hall changed my life, man. I don't think if I didn't do that year, then get locked up, I wouldn't have slowed down. There would have been some bad shit that could have happened to me. But that year in jail slowed me down, gave me a lot of time to think, a lot of time to pray, get close to God, and formulate a plan. So once I was in juvenile, I created the group called the Looney Tunes. You know, I came up with the whole scheme. You know what I mean? It was a vision given to me, and I ran with the vision. And drew the logo, made the name, came up with Numbskull name and my name in jail, because Numb used to be called the skinny one. You know what I mean? When we was in Brothers with Potential, I was called E-Flow. So when I got out, I had the whole Yukmouth Numbskull concept, the condom man, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll type of, you know what I mean, condom man logo, sex, drugs, sex, money, and murder, however you want to say it. You know what I mean? That was what the logo represented. And presented it to Numb, and he loved it. You know what I mean? Wrote the song, The Ice Cream Man, in Juvenile also. The song which would get us signed eventually. You know, but that same song I wrote in Juvenile, Ice Cream Man, was the song that got us signed to C-No Records. So I think if I wouldn't have spent time in jail and really getting close with God and praying, you know, for the gift to get up out the hood, you know what I mean? I don't think none of this would be happening, man. So, you know, glory to God, you know, straight up.
Yeah, and you guys came out in the 90s where you had to up your pen game because you had so many diverse styles. And what made it like finding your style and having you to stand out from the rest? Because, you know, we live in the Biden era.
Right. Basically, we was rapping like that since junior high school. It just wasn't popular. We was the ones rapping like Big Daddy Kane and Coochie Rap and Slick Rick. We had metaphors since the 80s, like you know what I mean, 87, you know, 85, 88, 87, you know what I mean? So when 95, I mean, the 90s came, metaphors, became popular with rappers like Nas, Redman, Busta Rhymes. They doing the metaphors and the punchlines. We was doing that shit way back when rap first started with Big Daddy Kane, so that being able to do that, that's what we was doing since junior high. So I just kept that type of energy, when I rap, the metaphors and the punchlines and crafty and being, crafty and tricky with your rhyme and your patterns and your flow. So we learned that in junior high school, and I just kept it going, but became better and more advanced at it, as I got older.
And one thing about it, because when you came along at that time, because one thing about it is just to listen to your lyrics, man, from there to now, you were always nice, but you and them were always nice, but when you did tracks like Grittin' and all that, you was just like, I was like, yo, this nigga spit.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
I'm like, I don't think people really understand, because all the greats that you mentioned, going back to Ras Kass, you mentioned, who is one of my all-time favorite MCs, representing CR, so that's the city north of Long Beach, southwest of Compton, for those who didn't know.
Right.
You Exhibit, Ras, Souls of Mischief, all of you were
the
part
Link,
of that.
Alcoholic.
Yeah, Alcoholic. Can't forget them. Shout out Uncle Tash and the crew, J-Ro, E. Swift. You all were part of that. Yeah, you all were part of that from that early 90s to the mid 90s. Yeah, that West Coast Renaissance, man. Did you all know at the time in terms of not only were you laying the foundation for the next generation of West Coast, wonder kids in the game, that you all to this day would still be doing it and just, becoming staples, becoming legends, becoming revered, individuals on the Rushmore of many, for being an elite, being elite lyricism. Because listen to you, man, you studied the game. Like you said, the punchlines, you will always stick with it. And we'd be remiss without mentioning this. Dude, you were really loved with a lot of people. And we've talked to a lot of people doing this show. People who mention your name, they got nothing but admiration for your ability. Most notably J Hood, man. J Hood has nothing but great things to say about you, man.
That's my guy. That's my partner in grind. We working on that new Savages Part 2 as we speak, man. So, yeah, that's my partner in grind, man. Hats off to him, man. He's an amazing MC, too. Another amazing MC I get to work with, man. So, like I say, still sharp and still. When I get around Hood, man, I can't be slacking in my macking, man. I got to step it up, man. That boy be barring out, you know what I mean? So I got to step it up fucking with him, man, you know what I mean? So definitely going to come a little bit harder than I usually go when I'm rapping with the New York guys. Yonkers niggas is not for that.
Look, and I gotta shout out my man Mitchie Slick. Shout out Lincoln Park, San Diego 619, Logan 41st, Dynamite. Dude,
click clack.
Dude, I was listening to Trigger Racing Station yesterday, and I was like, yo, I heard you coming on. I'm like, yo.
Yo, man, shout out my homie Mitchie Slick, the whole Wrong Kind Entertainment family, man. Me and Mitchie Slick go back to the 90s, man. We been rocking with each other, man. I first met him on a movie set with an artist called Juice from San Francisco, man. Juice was filming a movie, and him and Mitchie Slick was filming a movie, and I had a little role in it and a song on there or whatever. But, yeah, it was a dope-ass little independent movie they put out. That was the first time I met Mitchie Slick, and I was, I think, 97, 98, I want to say, 99, one of those. I think it was 99 because I was rocking Iceberg and shit. So, yeah, it was like 99. Yeah, I've been rocking with Mitchie Slick since way back then, man. So when he brought me down, we recorded that song together, you know what I mean, at his lab in San Diego, man. You know what I mean, with his people, man. So, I rock with Mitchie Slick the long way, man. That's been my brother, straight up.
And I wanted to tell you, man, that I was going to tell you, too, that I'm going to take a little bit of credit to this. So, anybody listen to the show, I'm going to poke my horn. And anybody want to chime in, I'm going to tell you what it is. I went ahead, I put a lot of people on to the Luniz when y'all was coming out. Not just I got 5 on it, but this was one of my favorite albums, was that Lunatic Music shit. That album was fucking fire.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
That one
Thank you. That Lunatic Music. Yeah, that motherfucker. Go ahead, continue. I'm just saying thanks. That's it.
Yeah, and I want to ask you a question about this one, because this has been a hip-hop puzzle for me for years. Like, when you did that song with Short, The Funkin' for Nothing, it kind of sounded like y'all was, like, dissing each other on the song, but it was a peace record. So it kind of came out that way.
Nah, man. So shit, we always talked about the niggas that caused the problem, basically. You know what I mean? That caused the rift between us. That's what we was all talking about. You know what I mean? But it could sound like we was talking about each other, though. But I get it. But I never took it that way. I'm like, okay, Show talking about his people. We talking about our people. You know what I mean? But it could be taken like we talking about each other. I see that. But nah, Show was talking about his people. The reason why, you know what I mean, he had an issue, and we talking about our people. The reason why we had an issue. Huh?
Yeah, because I was wondering that. I was like, hold on. I was listening to that song like 5 straight times. Like, hold on, it's like these niggas dissing each other on the song, but it's a peace record.
The one where I got dissed on the song that was supposed to be a peace record was the one I did with the game when we were supposed to squash the beef, and he hopped on that motherfucker dissing me and Gonzo. I'm like, this nigga. And I had turned my verse in. I had to, had a show the next day, so I turned my verse in, and he had it just to play with instead of doing a peace song. He just went hard on the motherfucker. So that's the only song I got dissed on doing a peace song was the one with Gang.
Why you clear that up? And go ahead, Tmaxx.
I was just saying, and one thing about it, though, obviously, being a distinguished legend in the game, you have always, you've always let niggas know that you would smoke if necessary. But one thing about it is the panoramic collaborations, just the overall how you've managed to click with people, and not only click with them, but have a genuine chemistry when you get on the track with them. Because your career is so distinguished. What was it like how did it feel when you really started making those moves? When you really realized that, like, I'm really becoming like this dude in the game. Like, I'm really, really making my mark.
When I went to Rap A Lot, that's when I realized that. Like, the Luniz, we're still, getting our feet wet behind the ears. It's new to the game. But by the time I got to Rap A Lot, I had my own record label. I had a deal at Geffen for one of my artists. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was real seasoned. And then when I got around Rap A Lot, all the doors open. Jay Prince taught me the independent game where I knew it more efficiently. Just the rap style Rap A Lot, just the access I had to producers, to everybody from the Top Dogs, from Scarface to, Devin the Dude, the I Squad, the Tila, to everybody, Big Mike, all became some of my best friends, in the game. And I was able to bring opportunity. I bought the Outlaws to Rap A Lot to be signed, when Death Row was shutting down. I bought me and Sibo over there, to do the Thug Lords. I bought Spice One over there. I bought Tech 9 over there. I bought so many people over there Rap A Lot. It's ridiculous. Tone Capone, the producer, that's our producer that started doing, beats with Mike Dean. And they did the whole Untouchable Scarface album and the Diary album, co-produced by our producer that did 5 on it. So we brought so much to the table for Rap A Lot, and my relationships, just to being able to have an ear for music and an eye for talent, I seen Tech 9 when people thought he was a devil worshiper, I rocked with him, period. I'm like, this is the dopest MC I ever heard, period, man. You need to be in a regime, Same when I heard Al Pacino, Al Pacino out there in Ohio, boy, that man got bars, Same when I heard him. I'm like, you need to be in the mob, man. And I created my own little clique, our own little outlaws, our own little hot boys, you know what I mean? From the Midwest to the East Coast, down south, and the West Coast, we all together as one clique called the Regime. So I had the L.A. function, you know, shout out, rest in peace to Gonzo. Shout out Kenny Kingpin, you know, Monster Ganja, you know what I mean? We had the L.A. fraction going on, Fats, Mad Max, you know what I mean? All them dudes from back in the day. We had the Bay fraction going on, the Kansas City, the Ohio, the New Jersey with Diesel Don, rest in peace to Govmatic, the D.C. Function. We had the D.C. area going. We had down south, you know what I mean, with Dorsell and the Realest. So, you know, Pretty Black from the Midwest too. Rest in peace to Pretty Black. He was from Chicago. So, yeah, our dudes was from everywhere, man, and we still mobbing together to this day, man. Period. The Regime. So, just being an artist that didn't have my nose up on my, you know what I mean, acting like I'm too good to fuck with the hood, you know what I mean, because I am from the hood. I understand motherfuckers that just need an opportunity and it's on. That's all I wanted was an opportunity. So that's what I try to do, reach back to the hood and help those who need a little bit more help because they already doing their thing by the time I even come around them, but they need a little bit more help, man. I throw them on my album, throw them on tour, you know what I mean, and try to link up with them and do as much music as I can with them, you know what I mean, to help them blow up. And I consider that just planting seeds, you know what I mean. When you plant a seed in each city, you got trees that grow. You got trees, you got fruit to bear in those cities, man. So each city that I go to, I just plant seeds with the independent artists. So every time I come out there, I'm good, you know what I mean? And I got family. It's like a family reunion when I come to these cities because I deal with their artists. I deal with their family. They people from the hood. They people from the streets, you know what I mean? I'm tapped in. So that's another good thing about it, just planting them seeds and getting love from all them different markets and, you know, parts of America.
And not to mention, when you did that album, the Thug Dog Aberration album, first of all, what I noticed when I listen to that is how crispy and sonically dope that shit was. Because, you know, from the opening song, you was tearing niggas' heads off with Godzilla. I was like, God dang, this nigga about to go in.
Mm-hmm. It was just my time to really let off a lot of shit that was on my chest. You know what I mean? That I really couldn't rap about with the Luniz because me and we was raised in two different areas. You know what I mean? Like we both hustled, of course, but he don't have the history that I have. You know what I mean? So I was able to finally reveal my history. You know what I mean? And really go in. And that's why I was called Thugged Out because I talked about my life in the streets. You know what I mean? Like the Luniz was the funny gangster side of hip hop. So you'll get some punchlines. You'll get, you know, funny punchlines. You'll get funny voices and different shit. You know, like the Red Man skit, just being funny, you know what I mean, period. But Yukmouth was serious. Wasn't no little funny skits or no funny voices and shit. It was strictly all gas, no brakes, and just talking about my life, the reality, and touching on situations that people were scared to rap about. You know, like I was the first one to mention my mom being, you know, dead, and my pops and my grandma. Everybody before them was talking about the dead homie. I was the first one that did a song about your parents being dead and your grandma. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to do things that people weren't doing. I was the first one. Like the Game came with the 300 bars. I was the first one to rap from the beginning to the end of a song with the revelations, man, no hook. So the first to do that, you know what I mean? I was just doing different things that people wasn't doing. You know what I mean? Trying to just switch it up as far as topic matter. You know what I mean? Subject matter. You know what I mean? Songs like Sacrifice My Life, songs like Father Like Son, like just different songs, you know what I mean? Falling, you know what I mean? Just like talking about, you know, your bad times and your good times. You know, rappers, they only talk about their good times. It's like looking at the gram. You only show your highlights, you know what I mean? You never show your flaws. So that's what rap was a lot of times, you know what I mean? Braggadocious, showing your highlights and not talking about your flaws. I was the first one to really open up. Talk about my highlights and my flaws, you know what I mean? A lot of people related to my flaws, you know what I mean? And so that's what made the album popular, I think, you know, Thugged Out the Appellation, being vulnerable, you know.
And tell Soulja Boy that you the first to do all that shit.
Yeah, before Soulja Boy, I was on YouTube. I was the first artist on YouTube, no cap. We was on YouTube 2005 at the end of, like, when that Game beat started. I would put my video straight to YouTube, Game Over Part 2. Soulja Boy Crank It wasn't on there when that came out. So we was actually the first big artist signed to a record label to go straight to YouTube with a video. Soulja Boy wasn't signed to a record label. We was. So we was the first big artist to do it, signed to Rap A Lot. We did that. So I give Soulja Boy his little credit for the, make it popular. But nah, Game Over was the first big hip-hop artist that was signed to a record label that dropped it on YouTube first. Straight up. Do your history. Do the math. You know?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, that's YouTube before it became YouTube, yo. And you got some hip-hop history.
Absolutely.
Yes,
one thing about it, you being born and raised in Oakland, man. I mean, you represent so much of what it is. You're one of the ambassadors of the hustle. When you look at, you represent places like Woodland, Coliseum, Eastmount, Fruitvale, Oakland Airport. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are all.
Nigga. I represent where Felix Mitchell is from, the King of Heron. You know what I mean? With a mob, the first black mob in America. I'm from where that neighborhood is from. So I got a lot of shit to talk about that Numb can't talk about. Not from that. You know what I mean? So it's a difference from me. You know what I mean? My dad was a kingpin. My uncles and shit was kingpins, cousins, so on and so on. So I have a lot of shit to talk about, that's different from Numbskull raising, the upbringing. That's still my brother. Right. When we do come together, our vibe is dope, but my lifestyle was totally different from his, period. So my rhymes is different. That's why a Yuck album is different than a Luniz album,
Yeah, and one thing about it,
man, and with the song...
Go ahead, King.
I was going to say this, though. With the song City of Dope, it also showed that, you could, paint pictures as well. Like, with your storytelling. Cause we got hip to... We didn't know about Felix the Cat Mitchell until you brought that up. That's just me. We was going by with the New Jack City.
Right. It's just a lot. You know what I mean? The Black Panthers, a lot of shit. You know what I mean? That's in Oakland that people don't talk about. You know what I mean? Hammer ain't never talked about Felix Mitchell and Little D. And a lot of people from my neighborhood funded Hammer. You know what I mean? Put that money up for him to even have to start his career. That money came from us, the hood. You know what I mean? So Hammer don't never mention us, but when he was going around beating people ass, that was us, my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Backstage, tearing shit up for him. You know what I mean? So he's tied to the Ville too. So it's a lot of shit. A lot of people that we done help, and we really don't get no love. So I want to show the love. You know what I mean? Like give it up to the people that's really behind and putting this money up. You know what I mean? Behind these artists that's superstars in Oakland, and they never get talked about. So I made it my duty to salute the OGs, you know what I mean, period. The big dogs, you know what I mean, that looked out for all of us, even our parents and shit. Like, back in the day, I don't know about y'all, man. I don't know about these kingpins and D-boys nowadays, but back in the day in the projects, man, when your check didn't come, you know what I mean, you're waiting for your welfare check, you couldn't pay your bills and shit, the kingpin will loan your mom that money, come and pay that shit, you know what I mean? If you needed groceries or something, the kingpins, the D-boys, get that to your mama. Go grab some groceries for these kids. You know what I mean? The kids need shoes, man. Go grab some shoes. The kingpins and shit looked out for the neighborhood. That's why when shit happened, nobody is snitched because they got so much love for it. It's like the Robin Hood, you know what I mean? They the Robin Hood of the neighborhood, you know what I mean? They coming back and giving back, you know what I mean? So that's why nobody was snitched when shootings that happen or stabbings or robberies or none of that shit because they looking out for you. It's a family thing, you know what I mean? So with that being said, you know what I mean, them same dudes taking care of my family, taking care of me when I was young. I just want to show love back,
Yeah. One thing about it, man, y'all coming from the town, man, is y'all had a hustle that was just unlike no other. One thing about it in the annals of hip hop, the Bay Area is always, y'all have fought hard for that respect, but once y'all got it, you all got a cobra clutch in terms of letting people know that this is not only our presence is felt, but we are here to stay. What makes Oakland in terms of it in reference to just, that determination, the grit y'all had to survive, and how do you feel about a lot of the new artists coming through? Of course, like Filthy Rich, Cookie Money, and a lot of others carrying on the tradition, that y'all laid the foundation for.
Man, first and foremost, man, salute to both them brothers you named them, both my homies, Filthy and Cookie. They definitely turning on, putting on shit. J Style and Livewire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of the big things going down in Oakland, man. People was getting down. So salute to all them brothers, man. The mechanics, they fucking like the Dr. Dre's of the Bay Area right now.
Yeah.
Beating their ass.
Shout out to Kitty Tweet 4 Racks.
They are boys.
Yeah. Yes, man.
Yeah.
They're my brothers, man. So everybody, even the OGs coming back. You see Richie Rich putting shit out. Oh, Mr. Fab. Can't forget Mr. Fab. Mr. Fab got the dope era shit going. He putting on for the city.
Yeah.
I just love the youngsters keeping the shit lit. You know what I mean? But basically, Oakland, we always felt like motherfuckers wouldn't give us our credit, so we had to fight for it. You know what I mean? Like everybody, when they look at California, they look at L.A. They don't give a fuck about the Bay. Think that the whole fucking California gangbang and, you know, wear Dickies and khakis and up in Oakland, we totally different. We ain't never wore khakis, Dickies, and Converse. You know what I mean? We ain't never had to, you know what I mean? We ain't never gangbang. You know, we don't ride low riders. You know what I mean? So it was different, a different culture. You know, we come from macking, pimping, and hustling. You know what I mean? And really black unity with the Black Panthers and, you know what I mean, just black unity. You know what I mean? So that's where we come from, you know. So it's the mecca of the game, where all the game come from. You know, even the gangs, they started trying to be knockoff Black Panthers. You know, that's what the Crips originally was, you know what I mean, a fraction of the Black Panthers, and then it turned gangster. You know what I mean? So everything started, you know what I mean? Like, all that shit started in the Bay, and then it transferred and go everywhere else and get transferred to a lot of different shit. But the game and the mecca come from Oakland, man. Macking, pimping, all that shit, prostitution, all that shit, hustling. Crack was made in Oakland. The first spot that had crack in the United States was Oakland, California. They was trying to get rid of the Panthers. It was, you know, systematically made and created to get rid of the Panthers. And they just get rid of the unity, you know what I mean, that Oakland had, and just to turn them into dope fiends and, you know what I mean, arrest them off, you know, kill them off. You know what I mean? And basically just kill our leadership out there, you know what I mean, because it was so powerful. It was spreading to Chicago, spreading to L.A., you know, spreading to New York, you know what I mean, and so on and so on. So they want to silence that. And you got to cut the motherfucking head off the snake and the body will fall. So that's what they did with the crack. So we was the first ones with the crack, first macking and pimping. You know, Hell's Angels started in Oakland, first with the motorcycle clubs. Like, there's so much history that comes from up there. It's fucking ridiculous. And nobody give us our credit. So, you know, we stand on that. You know what I mean? Period. We never try to be like nobody else. You know what I mean? We ourselves, and we talk different. Our slang words and shit is totally different than anybody in America. You know what I mean? It's just us. We different than anything in California. The Bay Area, even with Sacramento being so close to us, we different from Sac. You know? With Fresno and all the other places, Modesto and all that being so close to us, we different from that. You know? There's something unique about Oakland that nothing got up there in Northern California. Everybody got to come to Oakland and soak up some game and go back home. You know, on the weekend, niggas go hang out in Oakland. You know, no disrespect to other cities, but that's the hangout, man. Niggas bring their old schools out, they flyest cars, they baddest bitches. You know what I mean? They flyest gear, they biggest pieces of jewelry, and they come to Oakland, Lake Merritt, ride around that goddamn lake every weekend showing off their stuff. You know, so Oakland is like the pilgrimage, you know what I mean, for the fly shit to go down and the player shit to go down and the hustling and macking shit that go down. So, yeah, we different, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And you know from that level, you know, when you talk about Oakland, you know, East and West, I mean, and of course King and myself, because we are diehard Raider fans, you know, we silver, black, look, the Raiders belong in the Bay Area. Specifically Oakland. I mean, we just Vegas, we know y'all got our team, but the Raiders belong in Oakland. Shout out to Oakland, Alameda. And of course, you know, when you speak on Sacramento, we cannot, you know, not mention, of course, shout out to Mozzie, Mozzarella fella, you know.
Oh yeah, shout out to the whole Sacramento. Yeah, shout out Mozzie.
And of course, Mr. Lunatic. Can't forget him either.
Yeah. Man, my nigga Lunatic, shout out motherfucking Brother Lynch Hung, shout out Sebo, the ball head motherfucking nut, you know what I mean? Even shout out motherfucking CML, you know what I mean? All them niggas is kicking up dust. Shout out my nigga Bueno, shout out Gatlin, You know what I mean? Niggas is kicking up dust. You know what I mean? Period. It's a lot of shit going down out there. We recorded a lot of the Mac Dre shit out in Sacramento, man. So
Rest
Sacramento
in peace to the Romper Room great, man.
Yeah, no disrespect to Sac. Man. Sac is a vibe, man, and all them little hyphy dances and shit came from Sacramento niggas. So let's not leave Sac out with the, you know, they definitely brought something to the Bay Area too, man. Them hyphy dances that Mike Dre was doing, he got that from Sacramento niggas, man. Straight up, something terrible, man. Shout out my niggas, something terrible. But they was Mac Dre hype man and dancers, and that's where you see all them gigs and shit, all them routines and shit come from. And they was from Sacramento, man. So Sacramento definitely a pillar, you know what I mean, in a Bay Area game.
Now, another question I want to shoot to you, too. You know, we talking about unity and stuff. Now, do you have another United Ghettos of America project coming? Because it's been a while since we got the last one.
Everything, it ain't about DVDs no more. You know what I mean? It's about digital and shit. And my channel ain't monetized, so I'm not just going to be putting up United Ghettos on my YouTube and not getting no monetization or no type. And then the old ones got, like, X-rated and shit. I can't put that on Amazon Prime or, you know, the other spots. So I got a couple just in the safe, you know what I mean, ready to just, you know, press up and get them ready. But I got to wait to figure out how to monetize the shit or how to sell it, you know what I mean, without pressing it up to be a DVD, because DVDs ain't selling like that no more.
Yeah, because you making that transition to the YouTube game now. You starting to see how it really is. YouTube is very funny style.
Oh, hella funny style. They don't play none of that shit. Period. So, you know, I have to get it on like Amazon Prime or something and pay for the stream and pay for it to be streamed or some shit like that. You know, so I'm still trying to figure that move out. Once I figure it out, man, I'm sitting on them. I got two motherfucking United Ghettos like that. UGA Passport and UGA Lost Files. You know what I mean? With all the old school footage of Mac Dre, the shit that I didn't put out. Yeah, I got some shit. So I'm sitting on two of them right now. Just got to figure out how to put them out, you know?
I mean, one thing about it is obviously you have gone from, rap freshman, MC to full-fledged entrepreneur, man, pushing, over 25 years and still going strong. What have you learned over the years in terms of how this business of hip-hop works? Working, with legends like Jay Prince from a business side, of course, and then really just from your own experience in the game, cultivating your own culture of how you we're going to continue, enterprising and monetizing.
You got to definitely keep your foot on the pedal, man. You know what I mean? Never stop, man. Just stay consistent, stay original, stay soaking up game so you could always do new ventures, you know what I mean? Because you can't rap forever. That's why I done did the DVD game. That's why I'm doing a podcast game. That's why I've got marijuana ventures and all types of other things going down, property, you know what I mean? All that type of thing, you know what I mean? Because when I hang it up, you know what I mean, pass it to the youngsters, you know what I mean? I still got money coming in from all different directions. So always look for an exit strategy, man. You can't sell dope forever. And I mean, right now we sell rap. That's our dope. You know what I mean? I went from selling dope on the block to selling dope on the charts. You know what I mean? So that's the new dope is our music. You know what I mean? But you can't sell dope forever. You know what I mean? Hip-hop is a young man's sport. So I always look for other business ventures, other ways to make money. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm doing so many different other ventures and stuff. And as far as just having a passion for it, I love music. I love hip-hop, you know what I mean, period. That's the best genre of music it is. And, it's proven on the charts. And I always compete with my last album. So I'm my biggest competition, man. I always try to outdo myself and step it up, man. So I always try to outdo the Thugged Out, the Aberration, the Godzilla album, the New Testament, you know what I mean, the first Thug Lords, you know what I mean, just the albums that the Lunatic Music, the Operation Stackola, all of that, you know what I mean, just always try to outdo those albums and get better. My last album, the one before that, Free at Last, you know what I mean, JJ, based on the real story, was trying to outdo that album, you know what I mean, so I'm always in competition with myself and trying to level up, you know what I mean, and extend my story, you know what I mean, tell different stories I haven't told on other albums, you know what I mean, or continue the story to where I go deeper into it, you know what I mean, and just keep that storytelling going, you know what I mean. That's what draws my fans in, you know what I mean, to my life story. You know, I could, you know, rappity rap and shit like that, but my stories, my life stories, that's the ones people like because it's a lesson in the story, you know what I mean. So definitely keep that message out there, you know what I mean, and just keep going, you know what I mean. I love music, and even the new artists, you know what I mean. Shout out to Mozzie, shout out to Simbas, shout out who else going hella hard? Kendrick brother, Deep Smoke, all them, like the people that's really, you know, stepping it up, you know what I mean, like the influential. The whole Griselda, Benny the Butcher, Conway, them brothers, you know what I mean? They tearing shit up, and it's motivation, you know what I mean, to make you want to get in the booth and step your shit up and go crazy. So salute to them brothers. RJ Payne, you know what I mean? That's my homie.
Yeah.
Payne. That's my guy.
Y'all gotta have something to work for that. That's one of my favorites now.
I'm on his album, man. I've been on his album when he first came out. I tapped in with him from the beginning, man. So, you know, I keep my ears to the street. I was one of the first dudes to hop on his album. I was supposed to be on this one, the song that he got with Papoose and who else he had with that? Papoose, somebody. I missed the deadline because I was out on tour, so I missed the deadline. But yeah, man, that's my dude, RJ Payne, man. So yeah. The dope dudes, man, that influenced me too, man. Dudes is hella dope and make me want to just get in the booth and get loose, man. So salute to them brothers for the motivation.
Yes, sir, man. And another thing I want to ask you too, man, how does it feel to get back on the road, like back touring after being on lockdown for like a year?
Oh man, we wasn't on lockdown. We the Luniz, bro. I got 5 on them. Cannabis clubs is open. Cannabis clubs was open, so the cannabis clubs was open, and they was doing outside events. So we was performing at cannabis clubs and outside, you know what I mean, social distancing. They got the stage outside in the parking lot. They got everybody spread it out, and we do little events at these cannabis clubs. So we walkthroughs, shows, everything. So we was booked throughout the whole pandemic. We didn't slow down, you know. Thank God for marijuana. So you know, the cannabis clubs was essential businesses. You know, they stayed open for medicine to give people their medicine. So yeah, we was performing the whole year, definitely. We was good, but just to be able to get back on the road to do the big shows, man. You know what I mean? The big arena events. You know what I mean? Where everybody got to be COVID tested or you got to have the vaccination, man. We just did a big one with Bone Thugs, E40, Fat Joe, us. Did this like last month, and the whole crowd had to be vaccinated. So it's kind of different, you know what I mean, but it's safer. It's definitely safe. You know what I mean? They definitely make sure the artists are vaccinated or took their test, their COVID test. So, it's serious. That's the only thing that's the difference, you know what I mean? It's serious. You got to have your vaccination or your COVID test to even attend. So, it still was packed, still sold out. So, you know, it's just a little bit more restrictions. But, we killed it, you know.
One thing about it, y'all, is we listen to you, the enthusiasm, the optimism, the pure joy that you have, the happiness you have, man. To be in the game this long, you know, I'm in Virginia, you know, King, you know, is in North Carolina. We knew about you, you know, we knew about y'all growing up, and now to be able to interview you is such an honor, man. I mean, what is it like to know that over this time with your music and your contributions to the culture that you have reached so many far and wide in terms of having that love, respect, and appreciation?
Man, I never dreamed this in my wildest dreams, man. It's like we just wanted to get signed to a record label and be local in Oakland, you know what I mean, get on KNEL, you know, get on Video Jukebox or something. And that made our life, you know what I mean? We never knew that platinum albums, gold albums, touring, you know what I mean, multiple record deals, you know, artists, all the extra stuff that came with it. We didn't know, we didn't expect it. So it's still like I'm living in a super, super, super dream, you know what I mean? It blows my mind, you know. glory to God. You know, all I can say is glory to God, and I praise God, because without him, none of this would be going down. It still amazes me. You know what I mean? I'm still like the dude that first got in the studio the first time and sung the Ice Cream Man verse. You know what I mean? I'm that excited. You know, when I do these shows, when I touch my fans, you know what I mean? I always say my new logo is no fans, no bands. You know, our fans pay our bills, man, so I show the ultimate love to the fans, man. I ain't no dude about nose stuck. I'm signing every autograph, taking every picture, shaking every hand, you know, kissing every baby, period, you know, because without them, I wouldn't be who I am, you know what I mean? So I definitely show love back. And I'm still like a kid in the candy store, man, just happy as fuck, man, just to be able to do something that was a hobby and make it as a living, you know, make a living, you know, provide for my family, provide for my friends, you know, the people who I employ, you know what I mean, give opportunities to people. It's just amazing, man. It's fucking amazing, man. So glory to God, man. I'm still amazed, you know, still happy, you know.
Yes, sir, man. You know, we have to wrap this hour up short. Another question I want to shoot to you right quick, because I know you got things to do. Now, tell us about what you're feeling about I Got 5 on It getting phrased, like, you know, getting played in movies and soundtracks and stuff like that. Like, what was that experience like? Was it like hearing it on the radio for the first time, but on a different vein?
Hell yeah, you said it. You said it. It was like hearing it on the radio, but in a different vein, but a super different vein, because Jordan Peele, you know, he laid out the red carpet for us from the beginning, you know, sent us appreciation letters and this, that, and the third. We got invited to the premiere of the movie. We got, you know, signed letters and, you know, the pictures and the scissors from the movie, everything, memorabilia, you know, and a personal letter from him, like, thank you guys, I appreciate it. And, you know, he cast us out, you know what I mean? So I liked it for the fact that it reinvented 5 on It for the youth. You know what I mean? Because us, we OGs, you know, I assume you're in your 30s and stuff. I'm in my 40s. But the youth, the 20 and below, you know, they don't know this song. So it reintroduced it to them, to where now I see marching bands in high school and college playing 5 on It, where I see little kids at their piano, you know, playing 5 on It. Little kids that's trying to be a DJ, you know, mixing 5 on It. You know what I mean? So it definitely shine light, you know, as far as the youth, you know what I mean? And I think it reinvented the song, you know what I mean? So it's definitely a more appreciated song that the youth is adapting to it, you know what I mean? And that movie brought all the attention to that song. So salute to Jordan Peele, salute to everybody with the whole Us production, the opportunity. You know, they could have used any song and slowed it down and made it creepy, but they used ours. So salute to Jordan Peele and the opportunity, man. We still reaping the benefits off of that, man. Salute to Jordan Peele, you know?
Definitely. And I mean, it's something, you know, for everything, you know, in hip hop, because we see a lot of times that with everything moving in the media so fast, you know, we live in a microwave processing of instant gratification, that the history has to be told and it has to be documented and it has to be, most of all, appreciated.
Right.
For a lot of the new artists coming into the game, what would you tell them in terms of, you know, understanding the culture, the history, and then how to handle the business to make sure that they are preserving culture, history, and maintaining tradition in this game?
Well, before you get into anything, you got to study it and master it. You know what I mean? The history of it, how it was done, how it was created, everything, so you'll know where it came from and what you're doing. You don't never want to jump at something you don't know the history of it. So definitely do your hip-hop history, you know, and research your legends, you know what I mean, the people who sacrificed for you guys. I just said it on my podcast earlier. You know, everybody asking, like, why y'all signing them fucked up deals back in the day? Man, we were just happy to get off the streets, man. We didn't know that you could be a millionaire off this shit. We just got signed for probably $5,000-$10,000, probably the most money we'd have seen as a teenager at one time, you know, and happy to get off the block, happy to have our shit played on the radio, happy to be getting on airplanes and shit and going to different cities and shit performing. We just happy to do that. We didn't know the business, you know what I mean? So saying all that to say this, learn the fucking business, period. Learn the business. Learn your point system. Learn what the 360 deal is before you take one. Learn what distribution is. Learn what a joint venture is. Learn what publishing, mechanics, and royalties are. Get you a publishing company from the rip. That's how you get paid. Get proper management, people that got the best interest for you. Like, even if you wrong, check you when you wrong. You know, and I know yes man motherfuckers that just gonna let you do bad shit. You know, have somebody that got your best interest and that's gonna check you when you're wrong and lead you in the right direction. You know what I mean? Stay prayed up. God is good and God is real. You know, tapping in with God could you just open up so many doors for you. It's ridiculous. And I'm not talking just for financial gain. I'm talking about spiritual humbleness, you know, joy in your life, protection, you know what I mean? Because a lot of rappers are dying. You need the protection of God behind you to, you know, around you to accumulate these millions of dollars and be safe nowadays. So definitely, man, tap in with God. Dope-ass lawyer, get you a dope lawyer that's going to have you, like your manager, have your best interest and not trying to fuck you over. And if you can, do it independently. Do it independently. Start your own record label. Everything is at the push of a button. You don't need a record label to do shit. The same shit they do, upload on iTunes, upload on YouTube, upload on Bevo, upload on WorldStar, that shit, Spotify, you could do that shit yourself. Period. Websites and shit, you could do that shit yourself, man, period. So cut out the middle, man, and really do your Master P. You know what I mean? Do your Baby. Do your J Prince. You know? Do it like the study your hip-hop and see the guys who started, you know what I mean, without no record labels, put their own money up and was very successful, man. So, you know, it's a lot of things you can learn from the old school, period. Apply that shit to your shit, your hustle that you're doing nowadays. And, yeah, you should be able to win, you know, straight up. That's my advice for any up-and-coming artist from your boy Yuck. Yada-da.
Yes, sir, man. And, you know, we about to get on the hour, too, man. We appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with us, man. We definitely going to keep pushing that line for you. And matter of fact, after the show, me and my partner got some stuff that, you know, throwbacks we want to send to you. So, you know, you can probably post on your page and let us know that we still been following you and we still going to be supporting y'all throughout the way. But you have any other shout-outs you want to give out?
Oh, man, big rest in peace to Young Dolph, man. That was tragic, you know what I mean, what happened a couple of days ago, man. Condolences to his family, you know what I mean, the kids, everything, everybody at Paper Route Empire, everybody at Empire, Ghazi. I know everybody going through it, man. Prayers and blessings to everybody. And, yeah, man, you know, that's one of the main things, man. We lost another hip-hop icon in the game, man, to foolishness, man. So, yeah, rest in peace to Dolph, man.
Definitely. Yuck, this has been an honor. You know, you're welcome back anytime, man. You know, we appreciate these gems that you've given us. You know, the incredible of your indelible, you know, intelligence in the game, man. And don't be a stranger, man. You know, we definitely appreciate it.
We got to send a shout out to Dyer Lansky too, man. That's the homie.
Yeah,
Lansky,
shout out.
Man. Salute to Dyer Lansky, man. Definitely, man. That's definitely the folks, man. He got a lot of production on me and J Hood album and my album, man. We coming up with some shit, man. Watch this, man. And Dyer Lansky behind the motherfucking the board, the SSL board, putting it in, man. So, yeah, salute to the brother, man, to the broski, man, Dyer Lansky, man. That's the fam.
Definitely.
So, brother, we definitely
man, let me give them my socials, man. Follow me on YouTube, man, Yukmouth TV. Subscribe to your guy, man. Follow me on the gram at Regime General, REGIME General. Follow me on Twitter, man, at The Real Yukmouth, THA Real Yukmouth, man. And get your merch and all your goodies and shit on SmokeALotRecords.com, man. Straight up.
Most def, man.
Definitely.
For sure, man. Y'all be easy, man. Off the cuff, man. Good shit. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too,
all right, brother.
Thank you again.
We'll keep in touch.
All right. Y'all be easy. One mob.
One. Peace.